I recently asked my subscribers a question. What's the #1 challenge that's stopping you from investing in a few properties and living off the rental income for the rest of your life? Paul in Bristol responded with, for me, it's the fear of failure. I've done lots of property training, but without ever pulling that first trigger. And so it's all still theory. For the first time, I am personally investing all of my savings and need this to be a success. And so understandably, there is an element of fear. To be honest with you, I hear this quite a lot, Paul. Let me see if I can help you in this video. Hi, my name is Tony Law from Your First Four Houses, and my channel is all about helping you replace a job-based income with just a handful of investment properties so that you can give up the day job if you wish and go and do something more interesting with your time. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So the very first thing I've got to say about fear is that I completely get it. And I'm not just saying that, I really do get it. I was absolutely terrified on my first project, and so I completely understand that level of fear, and it's perfectly normal. In my early days I made lots of mistakes, so I think in a way you have to accept that you will be making mistakes. That's part and parcel of the process. Obviously you just don't want those mistakes to cost you lots of money, do you? And on this note, I have actually put together an entire 50-point checklist, Paul, that you might want to go through, because that 50-point checklist will cover all of the various different points that you need to think about and therefore eliminate a large amount of this fear or this worry or this concern. But you know what really does it? What really helps eliminate the fear? It's going to see 100 properties. Now I know that sounds a bit bonkers. How can anyone really do that? But if you can, go and see, let's say 100 properties of the type that you're considering investing in. Can you imagine the mindset that you'll then have? If you go and see 100 properties, or moving in that direction, when another property comes onto the market, when it pops up onto your radar, you'll instantly recognize whether it's a good deal or a bad deal. If you're just going to go and see one or two, how will you ever really know if it is in fact a cracking deal? So the key thing is to go and see lots of properties, and ideally I'm talking about walking through the front doors. I will always encourage people to make their first property more of a vanilla type buy-to-let. The first one. I'm not saying you should do that moving forwards, but #1, don't forget you're building a portfolio for the long term, and that first vanilla type buy-to-let can teach you so much about property investing, but you need to focus on two key things. You need to focus on ways to add massive value. Talk about that too much, but it's so important. Not a lick of paint, massive value. And you need to buy these properties below market value. Now I do recognise that at the moment, at the time of filming, it's a really, really hot market. Getting cracking deals, i.e. below market value deals, is really quite challenging because everyone seems to be paying too much for them. But it's actually much, much easier to find properties where you can add massive value. If you're not aware of how to do that, check out my completely free mini course. It will talk all about loads of different ways that you can add massive value. But there's lots of those types of deals out there, and they're relatively easy to find compared to finding somewhere that you can buy at a genuine 20, 25, 30% below market value at the moment. Will you be able to find those types of deals moving later into 2021? I honestly think you will. I honestly think you will. But at the moment, adding value, relatively easy. I also think we should all be connecting directly with sellers. There's loads of ways that you can do that, but if you connect directly with a seller, dare I say it, without an estate agent necessarily looking over your shoulder, controlling the transaction, I honestly think you'll be able to negotiate better deals. And obviously the better the deal, the more you understand the deal, maybe by going out to see that property several times, interacting with the seller several times. It's all helping to eliminate the fear, isn't it? It's all helping. But you mustn't become a motivated buyer. And what I mean by that, we talk about motivated sellers all the time. Obviously, what I mean by a motivated buyer is, in my experience, having sort of coached hundreds of people, quite often when people are, they're fearful about making that first or second deal, do you know what? They become a motivated buyer. It gets to a point where they've almost got to buy something to almost get over the level of fear. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to be analytical always. You want to take the emotion out always. And you want to buy it for the right properties, for the right reasons. Now, if something does pop up on your radar, because you've been to see 100 properties and you kind of think, well, that actually looks quite good, go and talk to somebody about it, an experienced person. Don't talk to your mates down the pub. Don't talk to family, unless they are property investors. Go and talk to somebody that really is experienced. You can book a 45-minute coaching call with me if you want to, but you don't have to do that. There's loads of experienced property people out there. You've only got to look on forums and see how many thousands and thousands of people out there are wanting to sort of share experiences. Go and talk to somebody about your specific deal and share the numbers. Maybe don't share the address. Forgive me for that. In fact, no, don't forgive me for that. Don't share the address. Share the numbers, share everything else about it, and see what comes back. If you get back, Paul, why the hell would you buy that? That's exactly what you want to hear. Or you may get back, I think it's great. If you don't buy it, Paul, I will. But either way, experience counts in this kind of scenario. And don't forget, there are lots and lots of professional people out there that you can bring in to help eliminate the fear. I've got this guy, he's an independent building inspector. He's been around forever. And I love him to bits. And honestly, if you were fearful about some aspect of the build, so I'm not talking about the money bit, I'm talking about the build, the property itself. If he walks on site and you just listen to him with a notepad, and he will tell it as it is. You're paying him for his time, naturally. And he is so experienced. Having somebody like that eliminates the fear from that standpoint, from the building standpoint. So trust in professionals. And lastly, have you ever heard of the phrase, I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I honestly think property investing is really like that. You've got to look at all of this aspect, or all aspects of property investing, and take it literally just one bite at a time. And if you take that approach, rather than looking at the big elephant that is property investing, you'll move forwards. Every day you'll move forwards. To take a little bite of it every single time. And honestly, the fear won't be overwhelming. You will move forwards and you will build, a portfolio that's going to get you financially free. I really hope you find that helpful, Paul. But before you go, don't forget there is a deal to be doing a video for you, as per my original video. And that is that if I've recorded a video that answers your query, you get to get a book off my bookshelf. And it's that time. So once again, I've got my very, very expensive bag of books. They're slowly getting through these. I've got no idea what you're going to get. So I'm genuinely going to stick my hand in the top here and see what actually comes out. And this is, but I need my glasses. And you have got, okay, this is a really good book and very underrated. I've read it several times, which is why it's so thumbnailed and doodled in, so I'm going to apologise for that, Paul. Which Essential Guides Property Investors Handbook. There's so much in this that is awesome. If you haven't got this, you should go and get this book. You'll find it really helpful. Anyway, that's going to be coming your way, Paul. So thank you so much for the question. I really appreciate it. And I hope anybody else watching this video, you found it helpful too. And stay tuned for the rest of this week and next week, because I'm trying to pump as many of these answers out to your questions as to what's stopping you from building a property portfolio as I can, as we're staying in these kind of lovely holiday lets at the moment. And that's what I'm doing with my time. So stay tuned, because I've got a lot more of these types of answers coming your way.